big state after tonight's win?
Yeah, certainly happy to get the win. I give Anderson a bunch of credit, Bobby and the staff. They had a good plan. The kids played really hard. I'm really happy, always happy to win. And tell them we always celebrate victories. And certainly there's a lot we got to get better at. But I also thought we did a lot of things really well. I thought defensively we played really well all night. I think other probably in the go ball we gave up. And then probably got a little sloppy there at the end with a penalty here or there. But otherwise, I thought we were really, really solid. Certainly we'll be challenged in more ways. But we kept the quarterback in front of him. It was the whole night. So I thought really good job there. Offensively, it'd be fun. It'll be interesting to watch the tape. Started slow. We did a poor job of throwing and catching in the first half. We had a bunch of good opportunities that we wasted. I thought we played really solid up front. They threw a lot at us protection wise. I thought we ran the football pretty good. The thing I didn't like, we had too many, as I say, kind of too many of those 0, 1, 2 yard games. We got to get, the bad ones need to be threes. And so we got to be better there. I thought our running backs played really well. And I think Jake, I think the biggest thing Jake did I think the toughness he showed and the ability to go make plays with his feet. And I know he'd like to make a couple more throws, and he's certainly capable, as you saw some of those throws. He made some terrific throws. And Jake hadn't played football in 2 years. And I think that first run he had, maybe he probably hadn't been tackled in about 2 years because we didn't tackle our guys at all. The tackling was a concern I had coming into the game because we didn't do it in the team setting, but I thought we tackled pretty well, defensively. And then, kicking game, solid. It's funny, we had a few moving parts there. Greg Gitter went out. They had punted. I know, came in once. Pendergrass had a great, punt down there to down it. And then Noel Garcia stepped up as the holder. Ray had done that. And, Chappie had a great August. I just kind of expect him to make about everything because he's been that consistent. And we got to be better there. So lots of stuff to work on. We'll go back, watch it, and we'll be better next time out. So with that, just give me any questions you may have.
Coach, talking to Jake this preseason, I came away with the sense that this guy's played a lot of big time places, but the humbleness was there. He didn't feel like he was just come here to be a saint or anything like that. But to that end, like you say, he's also not played in 2 years. Is there still pressure for a guy like that, when it comes to the lights coming on and feeling like, all right, I'm in this position now and I've got to go do this? Was that any part of his little?
I probably would think so. That was one reason we really went ahead and made the decision to name him starter when we did. Sometimes it's just trying to take a little bit of it off of him from there. We felt like he'd been in that role. And I thought he practiced even better. I just feel, we practiced, if you count every walkthrough, I think we had 25 practices in August. And, that's all he's been with us. That's all I think he's just going to get better and better. I think he got better as the game went on. And I think that maybe the humility is maybe his greatest strength. Just comes, he'll be in there tomorrow watching the tape. We got to get better. But he's a talented guy. And I think guys have a lot of confidence in him. And I just, I just told somebody, even tonight, it was a little frustrating. The points we left out there. I thought 3 really good drives there to start the second, 2 in the third quarter, the first one there, and we had 3 points. But I don't know, I just felt different offensively. Just with I thought our running back group played really well. Again, I think the guys up front, again, they were throwing a lot of stuff at us. Which everybody's going to do that. But again, I think the pieces are there. And I think our group's made the right step. They're going to keep working to do things. They have to get better.
Eli, just talk about your performance tonight and just how How was this different than maybe the role you played at Wingate, or was it similar to the role you played, like position-wise at Wingate?
I think coming in tonight, I've already played against Anderson, so I kind of knew they were a physical team, and most people overlook the D2 teams, and I told the team all week that they're just like us. So I came out there wanting to play against them like I did last year, and I think I played as well because Josh Donkey, he took most of the doubles and the chips, and it's a testament to how great he is and freed me up on some of the plays. So I had to make plays for him and for the team, and I think collectively as a group we were just itching to hit all fall, and we finally got the chance to. And when we got the chance, we took it.
It's a long way over here, but I'll tell you what.
Yeah. I can just ask it them.
It's like putting out a fire with buckets.
Hi, this question is for the players. What advice would you give yourself after tonight's game?
Just to get back to work. There's a lot of stuff to work on, and just be a leader for this team, because I think we have a great team, and we're capable of doing a lot of great things this season. So just lead and fix the details, and just come ready to work next week.
Coming out of this game, I think I need to clean up the small details, and playing a team like Tennessee, and work on my pass rush game.
Coach,
Yeah.
what did you learn tonight that camp did not show you?
You know, I just was excited to see our group play, and I thought even with a slow start, you know, and we picked up the tempo a little bit in the second quarter, and I think that helped us. You know, but also saw, you know, we worked. These guys will tell you how many 2-minute drills we did in camp, and you know, I thought we did a great job of executing there for the half, and then you know, got it in there. That was huge, obviously getting the touchdown there for the half. You know, I think the same thing. I just see lots of things that I know we can do a lot better, and I think the pieces are in place. And you know, I really don't see a place where I just feel like we're not very good, or we're really. I think we got guys. Now we need to play better. We got to coach better. You know, and again, we got to be that team that doesn't be firm. We did a few things tonight that hurt us offensively. You know, little routes, covered up a guy, and you know, we just you know, which are things you got to continue to work at, get better at. But again, I think a good place to start. You know, good solid win for us. It was tough, and we were a tough football game, and that'll only help us going forward.
Not that I know enough to get out of the running, but tonight I thought you talked about the fact that you have a tackle, especially during the first half when I was just sitting there watching the game. The thing that I was most impressed by was the tackling out to the sideline, out in the flat. When they throw the ball out the sideline, that was where I thought the tackling was exceptional.
Yeah, I just didn't see a lot of missed tackles. Now, you know, obviously we know going forward, you know, we'll be tackling some different guys at times, but again, I think I give our coaches, our assistant coaches, a lot of credit to the defensive side of, you know, trying to continue to put our guys in positions where we could prepare for that. And you know, we came in really healthy, and I think we actually came out pretty healthy. You know, and it was really kind of physical kind of football game. Yeah, again, just lots of things to coach from. You know, I just told them, you know, we got to be your own biggest critic. You know, when we watch this tape tomorrow, you got to take coaching. And again, I just think this group's made the right stuff, and we'll get better, because it certainly won't get any easier going forward.
This is a question for Ben. What was the key to the success for the running backs tonight?
I just think this group that we have this year is very, very special. We're a very talented group. With the CJ Knowles being his second year, he's gotten more experience, and CJ Stokes has a hell of a resume. He's played a lot of football. And I think we all just complement each other really well. Whenever one of us needs a break, we got another great guy to come in make a play. Any of us can go for 100 in a game, and I'm excited for this future for this group. Yeah, we've just got a really talented group.
Coach, you mentioned this week about an obvious thing this year for defense was to get pressure on the quarterback and stuff like that. Be more of a team effort, not a one-man show. And I thought tonight, people like Eli and he said it even goes to the secondary. And I thought Braylon Peebles, especially in the first half, I thought those two guys kind of set a tone for the defense tonight.
Well, Braylon, he's a true freshman, and man, he doesn't play that way. He doesn't practice that way. He's kind of been like that from the time he got here. Yeah, I mean, you look at, I think, Eli, I knew what he would bring to, I know, Josh probably appreciates Eli as much as anybody, because he's gonna draw a little more attention over there, maybe take a little bit away from him. But I think just all the way across the front, those inside guys, being disruptive, creating, a little tougher for them. But again, I think it's a good place to start. As we go forward, but again, I think our guys will do the right stuff. They'll do things we need to do to try to be better.
I know
We
that.
have to be.
I know they have the one over the top, but overall, the secondary and corners.
Yeah, I thought they were really solid. I think the one they just, I think it was actually third down, then 3rd and 6 or something. And they just took the best man shot. The guy made a good throw, and the guy got behind us a little bit. But no, I thought by and large, and then the quarterback, he could never set his feet, so it was, he's a competitor. You watch him. You watched him last year. He makes a lot of plays with his feet. We knew we were going to get screened, and we knew they were going to move the pocket around and different stuff. And I just think if we played better offensively, if we'd taken more advantage of our opportunities offensively, we'd put more pressure on them. But we didn't. We kept letting them have a little hope, because we left points out there. So obviously, we get a chance to score points. We got to score points.
Coach, in the aspects of the game in which you have to be successful and to win championships, this felt like the first time maybe in a couple of years where you really kind of ran the ball the way you wanted to in certain situations. Can you talk about that? And then obviously Scott already mentioned the secondary, but you kind of physically imposed your will in this game. Can you just talk about that?
Well, I don't know if just me sitting there watching just like you guys were. I mean, those running back group, I just thought they had some different gears. That maybe we've seen ran with some power. And again, you'll go back. Yeah, there's some things we probably didn't do well. I thought we played solid up front. You can't, I don't care what you do, you can't do that against a lot of different stuff we had seen. Our defense had thrown a lot of stuff at us. So I think we got a chance to continue to get better there. And then, and I agree. We felt like the entire back half. When you're pretty good at corner, have a chance to be pretty good at corner, then it helps pass rush, just like pass rush helps guys back there in coverage. Again, we'll certainly be challenged many more ways going forward, but again, good start, good one to learn from.
Coach, you mentioned pregame your relationship with Anderson's head coach. How special was it to play against someone you've known for so many years?
I told him earlier, when I came back as head coach in 2017, we played 3 straight times. A lot was made of it then, probably even more so over the conference, so it's conference play, which makes it a little different. I appreciated them, when he and I kind of got together when we were given a chance to play a 12th game, and we didn't have a lot of options because we had certain dates we had to use. I was appreciative of him being able to make it happen. I thought the proximity would be there. I don't know. I think too much sometimes it gets made of that stuff. You start the game and you probably don't think about it until the end of the game when you walk over there, which is a good thing probably. But, you know, like I said, Ben, you know, his dad and my dad were sitting together up there. You know, still live across the street from each other. So, you know, which makes it tough, because we've spent far more time on the same sideline than we have on the opposite ones. But he's done a really good job building that program. You know, kudos to them. And if you've been over there, kudos to their administration, the commitment they've made to football, and it's pretty evident when you walk over there and see that. They're only going to get better. They're doing it the right way.
I know that you would need a 12th game, and you played Anderson to get a game under your belt before you play Tennessee. And maybe what can you get from playing Anderson that will help you against Tennessee? That's a whole new ball game.
We played football. You know, and football is lining up, and you don't get redos, and you don't get to get back on the ball and run it again. We got to tackle and try to, you know, react to something we didn't see every day. There'll be a lot of adjustments, I'm sure a lot of adjustments made, but you know, anytime you play football, you get better. And just, you know, and next time out, be different guys. It'll be a different environment, but it won't be the first time we're playing football. You know, really for a few of those guys, first time. You know, and like I said, I just think Jake's going to continue to get better. You know, and I think there's a lot of guys, like Braylon Peebles, you talked about him, that's his first college football game. You know, there were quite a few of those kinds of guys. So I just, again, I saw a couple of my ex-teammates, Bobby, you know, we were all after, you know, they made a comment that made me think of Coach Sheridan. It was always about the getting better. You know, I use that phrase a lot, and that's just, you know, that's just it. We just gotta try to get a little better each week and each day. Again, if you got the right pieces in place, which I think we do, then you got a chance to do it.
Coach Sheridan said that down at the gas station.
That's probably true. I have no doubt about that.
Said to me.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.